Wow.
Hey, welcome, you Saturday morning savages and cartoon watchers. It's Rule Zero. Look, we have the whole crew here today. Going to talk about some interesting things. We're going to talk about why. Why on earth do couples destroy their own relationship? Is it lack of communication? Is it infidelity? Is it incompatibility? Is it poor conflict resolution? Financial issues? Unmet needs, as in modern women and simpy men? Growing apart over time? We're going to tackle all these today and tell some stories here on Rule Zero. Guys, how are you doing, man? Welcome.
She got
a while
fat.
since I sat in the host
She got
seat.
fat. Good night.
She got fat. Oh, that's a good one for the list for sure.
Good. There. End of show.
I blame the whammon.
The whammon.
I blame the hip hop.
Well, there's a lot of ways that relationships are sabotaged, huh?
Sure.
No haircuts. That's what I hear. Women complain the most when their husbands and their boys don't get haircuts. It just look like Jesus fucking Christ or Charles Manson. That's number two, aside from getting fat.
Well, that's pretty interesting because, you know, I met a lot of guys that actually, when they actually go into a long-term relationship, Cappy, they act like they grabbed the brass ring on the merry-go-round. You're old enough to remember, right? The merry-go-rounds at the parks.
Yeah, of course.
Maybe you're too young. Well, go and
I'm not Jack, for God's sake. Yes, I know a couple of years. Yeah, I didn't hit puberty yesterday. Yes, I've been around.
So you get on the merry-go-round, little kid, and you reach out and you could grab these silver rings, and if you got the brass one, you won the prize, right? And then you don't have to ride the merry-go-round anymore. You're done. You're done for the day. You got the prize. A lot of guys seem to treat their long-term relationships a lot like that. Oh, I got it. I'm done. I don't have to do any of the stuff that made me attractive, all that sort of thing. And that seems to play with the gals too. You notice that as soon as they hook up into a relationship, there's like a 10-pound gain.
That's a big reason a lot of guys sabotage relationships. They just give up. They think they're done. I got the relationship. I don't have to do anything anymore. I can fall into those lines sometimes because you just get the routine going and you forget to get the emotional peaks and valleys for your girl, and then she creates a problem.
So would you say routine is routine for us guys is kind of, we like that. We like routine. Yep. For the gals, it's boredom, and they don't like that. And I think
guys like being lazy. They like laziness. They like routine, and women can't stand being bored. That's what it is.
Can't stand being bored.
You know,
I was going to say that normally, because of the way society has been geared in the West, you know, women are preferred and deference about, but I'd have to say that it's going to go down the middle here between men and women, because if you use obesity or overweight as a kind of a metric as to how much you're investing in the relationship, men and women are equally irresponsible when it comes to it. So I think we ought to go a little bit hard on the guys here who are like, I can't believe why my wife left me. And it's like, well, what's your pant size, asshole? You know, what was it when you were married or when you got married?
If you guys read, have you guys read Practical Female Psychology?
Yes.
You know, they break it down in Practical Female Psychology. They break down the betatization process, and you could say it's the women doing it, but the guys are letting the women do this stuff, right? It's a 5-step process where she's testing you in the beginning, right? Then she's seeking communication, then she's putting you to work, and then comes the evolutionary selfishness, and then the self-determination where she leaves your ass. Like,
well, you know how we did that show about vetting, 2 days ago? That's one of the reasons vetting isn't such a great strategy, is because guys think that once they vet the perfect girl, they're done. Like, work's over. Yeah. I got the girl who has the same political views as me, same religion, same interests. We're good. We're golden. I don't have to do any more work. But in reality, regardless of a girl's background or whatever, rules still apply. You still got to be awesome. They don't care about your devotion. They care that you're awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to acknowledge my British Viking brother. Troy Francis has joined the panel again, standing member of Rule Zero. Hey, Troy, how you doing, man?
Yeah, very good, man. Yeah, good to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Are you in London now, currently, back in home base?
I am. Yes, back in London for sure, man.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining up today, as we missed you.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. You know, I think that certainly there's some new elements that seem to creep into couples destroying their relationships today, even before they start. And when I say when they're dating and trying to even get together, seems to be a political element today. And the only reason I say that is I've read a few articles and seen a few blurbs about, women screening based on political ideology, based on their education at this point for mate seeking. Am I wrong there? Or are you guys seeing that?
Did you guys see that article where left-wing women prefer Republican men? I fantasize about right-wing men. I don't know why. It's like, well, I wonder.
I don't know if it would even be political that would describe it as just masculine or feminine men. It just happens to correlate with the politics. But when you're lazy, a lazy person, male or female, doesn't matter. You're going to lean left because you're a parasite. You want other people to pay for your shit. A surprise. Nobody, when it comes to dating, wants the weak, parasitic soy boy man. They want the guy who actually works. So I'm sorry, ladies. Unfortunately, that means you're going to have to suck some Republican dick. Terribly sorry.
So, Cappy, in your opinion, and maybe we'll do the panel. So, in a relationship, when you start and then you go into this long-term relationship, would you consider, the female side of it actually rather parasitic in nature, the way it's set up today?
No, not really necessarily. What kind of clarify? What do you mean, like going into the relationship, like it's parasitic?
Well, the most important part for them, the most important thing for them is really, when it comes down to it, is provisioning security.
I don't know if
resources.
That's in a old school classical, bioevolutionary sense. Yes, the men would provide, and the men would provide financially, materially, and all that. I don't know if that's just. Yes, by technical definition, that would be parasitic. But that's how there would be no. That's not a bad thing. That's how humans evolve.
Right.
I would say more. So yes, in that sense, yes, but it's not an irrational aspect on women's aspect.
It's more symbiotic, I would say.
Yeah, it's a reciprocal relationship. Yeah, and women would provide other things like taking care of the kids, taking care of the house, and things.
Would you say that even with modern women, having looked at all these shows, been on the panel shows, even though they make their own money, strongly independent, their list of requirements for a guy to put a ring on their finger kind of seems a little bit parasitic?
It is, I think, a holdover from genetics, not a conscious thing.
Okay.
I'm actually going to come and defend women a little bit on this, but I'll have some constructive criticism. But I think it's genetic holdover. Like, do you guys still like girls with big boobs?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Goddamn right.
We have milk formula and whatever else, but we still like girls with big boobs. So girls are still going to like tall guys who make good money, genetically, biologically. They're not going to be able to undo that. And so I can understand that there. I also understand, yes, they, especially given the leftist soy boy, Democrat, socialist, labour, because Troy's here, labour men, girls don't want they want a guy who has a job. That's not irrational. That's just self-respect. They want a guy who can support himself. And should they form a relationship, they want a guy who is be able to support himself. Where I think it maybe crosses the line is where you see influencers and a lot of women going for gold diggers, and they need a guy to make more than him. These are rational expectations where they want a lifestyle and really aren't interested in a relationship. And I would say also hypocritically is, though in intent, I think a lot of women insist on being strong and independent and actually think they are. In practice, in reality, many are not, where they come to a relationship with student loan debt. They have no skills or talents because their college degree is a laughably unemployable joke. They are also, in addition to a financial liability, psychological, emotional liability with the arrogance and self-importance and self-centeredness and that. So I would say there, yes, that is hypocritical and where it should be criticized. Where I'm strong, independent girl boss, bad bitch, don't need no. It's like, yeah, but what's this $75,000 in student loans you're voting for a stimulus bailout for? And why are you voting to take my money away? And then yet you still want. So there is a hypocrisy there, but just wanting a man to support himself and have good, stable finances, I don't think is irrational. Their actions, however, are irrational when they themselves become a financial liability.
Yeah, I kind of just think parasitic is maybe the wrong is just maybe not the right term to use in relation to it. I think it's just endemic in human nature. I mean, if you read Why Women Have Sex, Dr. David Buss, Sidney Meeston, I mean, one of the things in that is that a study shows that some sort of gift giving is prevalent in male-female relations across the board in all, pretty much all human society. So from the smallest, like, obscure tribe through to New York City or whatever, it's kind of just part of the deal. Do you know what I mean? And it's sort of like we can bitch and moan about it, but it just kind of is what it is, really. So I mean, the key thing I think for the guy is like, okay, why am I getting played here, right? Is this girl just a complete fucking gold digger and there's no genuine desire here at all? And obviously that's the worst. I'm just buying her a load of shit and she's not sleeping with me and she's not really, she's only in it for the money, through to a girl who, like Cappy said, just wants a dude with a job, and you've got to figure out where you are on that scale and kind of, if you're okay with it. But obviously, I think for most people watching this, we want to avoid the more transactional side of the equation as much as we can.
Ryan talks about it in Dread too. A lot of the modern women, they make their own money now, and so they don't need a man, right? But they still want a man. So what they're really wanting is a luxury brand. So and that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to dress like Troy Francis everywhere you go, but
you should.
But
his cleavage game is on point.
Yeah,
I must admit, I feel competed with.
But there's other qualities that women are looking for. A guy that brings the fun and does fun, adventurous activities with and stuff like that, that she could join his lifestyle. It's not necessarily about the money at that point.
Yeah. Well, so I mean, and then the other thing is as well, I mean, we talk about this a lot, but I mean, there are plenty of guys who are wealthy who are fucking just complete dorks. And so, yeah, I mean, and people think out there, it's like the looks max thing. People think, oh, it's just looks, or oh, it's just money. This guy's rich, so he's getting laid like a rock star. The reality is, I mean, myself and James, we get quite a few clients who are, they're making good money. They're fucking wealthy. I mean, we've had clients who are millionaires. We've had one client whose company was valued at, 4 billion, right? I mean, it doesn't mean it's all plain sailing. I mean, yeah, you're going to get some girls, but what is the quality of those women and what are they in it for? Do you know what I mean? And so these personal qualities of edge and frame and not being a boring fucker, are really, really important, particularly in today's market, because like you said, I mean, women don't necessarily need a guy's provision. I mean, they may want it, but they don't necessarily need it. So you have to bring something else to the party.
I hear you. Now, when it comes to couples kind of mutually kind of sabotaging each other, would you say that because of our nature, there's obviously a conflict, there's a difference in strategy, sexual strategy? Rollo's pointed out many times. And when they get together, they're getting together for mutual benefit. We know that men and women are better together than apart. Obviously, we carry the species on by doing this. So what is it that we all kind of do? Is it complacency on the men's part? And on the women's part, is it boredom? Or is it... There's more to it, obviously, than that. I think in the beginning, there's a huge tug of chemistry that keeps people together. The honeymoon phase, we've all heard of that, right? And that really kind of is nature's way of forcing us together, I would think, after a time. And then it kind of wanes. And then for the ladies, there's the social influence of friends. That seems to be really prevalent when I've done my talks and lectures that, oh, he doesn't love you if he doesn't do this, as a preconceived notion that a friend or an acquaintance would have, and that spreads amongst a social group. And then there's this pressure. And we've shown on here before that certain breakups, like divorces, are like actually a social contagion. And then on the guy's side, there seems to be, hey, she's feeding me, man. I'm eating all my stuff. I have my beer. I can come home. I can relax. The deed is done. And there's no thought to keeping that mystery or vibe alive. At least that seems really common. I watch it all the time at work.
That's what happened. That's what happened in my marriage. That's what's happened to like tons of guys that I knew coming out of the 3% man group. Is we got into a marriage. We thought we hit the finish line.
Yeah.
We got lazy. We stopped doing what we did in the beginning, and we got complacent. And then women, you end up becoming each other's best friends. And when you guys are best friends, you're no longer being each other's, lover, and then things just start fading away, and then
best
the
friends
guys
don't fuck anymore.
Best friends don't fuck anymore unless they're. I mean, yeah, it's not even friends with benefits. It's like,
right.
And so then the guys are like, why isn't she fucking me anymore? And then they start getting all, bitter and covert contracty and shit. And then they start resenting her because she's not putting out, but I'm doing all this cool stuff like putting a roof over your head, bitch. You owe me this sex. And then it just all falls apart that way. Oh my God. Look who's here.
Wait.
Oh,
Hey.
my
Oh, sorry. I beat
Christ, Jesus.
Oh,
Look at this, man.
Look what I'm doing.
can't bring it.
Aaron, look what I'm doing. How you doing?
You got adult diapers. What are you doing? Cheering on the Miami Dolphins? You drinking wine?
I'm living in Asia.
Stop the show. We got the old crew.
How you doing?
Welcome, John. Oh, doing fantastic. Thanks for joining up, man. I know it's early over there, so I hope you're enjoying yourself. We got Troy, we got Aaron.
It is midnight. It is midnight 50, and I am a couple bottles of wine deep. Went out with friends.
Oh, this is gonna be a good episode then.
Fuck yeah, I'm hitting the club right after this. I'm here until Thor says I can go, then I'm out. So,
have you guys noticed something that I've noticed? One of the biggest ways women are ruining their relationships now is watching and taking advice from other women on TikTok.
Oh yeah,
relationship.
Yes, yeah.
That's like one of the number one reasons I get into a fight. Like once a month, she'll have a period and then scroll through TikTok and then find a reason that I'm doing something wrong according to TikTok.
You need to convince your girl to just tune into red pill shit. That's what I got my girl doing. She's like, yeah, those bitches. Fuck those bitches. I'm like,
Fitch, no worries.
Right,
TikTok is gonna be banned in like a year or so, and then you'll get rid of the fights.
Have her listen to that. Yeah, so I mean, John's got the answer. I mean, for the guys, a lot of times it's you don't give up on the money muscles game, right? That's a lot of times how we destroy our relationships is we just, hey, we made it, we got the brass ring, give up on it all because it's routine now. So and the ladies don't respond well to that.
Well, I think that's the key thing. And it's kind of like, I don't know ultimately if there is an answer to the betarization process. I don't know. I mean, maybe scientists are still trying to fucking figure it out. But I think if there is an answer to it, it's at least awareness that you've got to maintain those things, money, muscles, game, and frame. You've got to fucking maintain those things. And at least you've got awareness of that and you're actively working towards that. You're going to be in a better position than the average chump who just sits there and gets fat and doesn't do anything. And then she, fucks the pool boy, right? So at least we're aware, at least we know what we should be doing and we can aspire to that. Now, whether in the long term, over 40 or 50 years, it fucking works anymore, I don't know. But at least that's the baseline that we need to aim for.
I think most guys get overinvested. Might be part of frame, but to explain that, like if you get overinvested, you tend to say no less and less and less. And you tend to want to keep the peace more and more and more. And you lose that outcome independence. And this is why even in Married Red Pill, they used to say, mentally divorce your wife. Mentally just divorce your wife. And then all of that, well, not right away, but gradually all of that falls away because you are slowly but surely acting again from your own perspective. You ask yourself, how does this benefit me? Instead of keep asking, oh, what will she think of it? That doesn't matter. All of this is for you. And I think that is where most guys fail because of that overinvestment in her trying to keep the peace.
Yeah, it's the stay plan is the same as the go plan. Like it doesn't matter if she leaves. Obviously, you're gonna be sad if your girl leaves, right? But life goes on, and it's the same. Nothing changes. You still got to.
I would also. This is very important to understand that it's always going on in the background, just like a law that water always will find the lowest level. You have to understand that to survive in the past, this is my universal law, not theory, law of laziness. Humans' default setting is laziness because that's how we survived in the past. There is no reason to expend extra calories of energy, especially when food was scarce for so long of our history, that the fear of starvation is heavily ingrained in us. And so if you don't have to, you won't. And that concept, okay, we have a consummated relationship through marriage or law or whatever, that now it can back off the throttle. Now and all the time, the man and the woman gain weight. And you got just to show you how powerful laziness is. All right. What's the most powerful sex drive in men's lives? Or I'm sorry, what's the most powerful biological drive in men's lives?
Sex.
No.
Survival.
Because if sex was the most powerful drive, would 60% of young men be overweight that are married?
Okay, fair bit. Very good.
See,
Hunger.
Hunger, fear of
It's called survival.
starvation, which ultimately manifests itself in the form of laziness, is the most powerful drive in both men and women's psyche, because that threatened your survival. Sex was a luxury on top of it. And so you have to understand that both you and your wife, once you're married, are going to want to throw back the throttle, kick off the afterburners, and then just coast. And that's where you get fat. And once you start losing physical attraction to one another, that is the foundation of all sexual and romantic relationships. Right. And so with that goes away, that is, I argue, where the origins of the seeds of the relationships falling apart starts.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. You know, that conservation of energy can be translated into laziness because part of our nature, and of course, entropy is ever present. I've used the term high entropy woman, high entropy man. If you guys understand what entropy is, it's nature's way of tearing things apart, returning it to its base elements, and then creating other things. It's kind of esoteric, but it is a scientific principle. But yeah, I absolutely agree with Cappy on that. I want to tell a little bit of a story here because, it's why couples destroy their relationships, and they do. I mean, they sabotage them. Sometimes it's for drama. You ever meet a couple that's hooked on the drama because the making of sex is so good, right? They like that emotional part of it. And then there's couples that last a long time, and it seems like a mystery. Well, how could they last so long? My wife and I have been married 32 years. And at one time she was sitting and I was in the room with the whole family, and her grandmother was 94 at the time. And she had been married for many, many decades. And she was asked, she asked her, how did you make it so long? Nobody seems to make it without at least a divorce or a remarriage and all that. And she got real serious and she says, well, dear, as a wife, sometimes you just have to suck it up. That was the 94-year-old woman's answer. I don't know what that meant, but it was kind of like that. Yeah, because I've heard MLD say that. I've heard other guys say that. But her point was, because she expounded later, is those things don't last. Some of the things we get hung up on, you just hold a grudge forever, and you can't be a grudge holder. Anyways, that was the sidetrack that I was getting on. I think a lot of people today definitely want to hook up as a couple. I think that's ultimately the drive of most people, even the betas that are out there. They would love to have a girlfriend to call their own, but they sure like to turn those 304s into housewives and have their little trophy there. And that might be a recipe for disaster. What say you, John?
Oh boy, we're in deep trouble in the States.
Let me tell you about American women.
No, I just think, you know what it is? The problem is just like in general in the West, in America, women hold frame better than men. That's just the bottom line.
Oh yeah.
In my opinion, that's the root of it all. Because everything they have is from some like simp ass dude, or like they have such society is just like nerfing life for them. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's just they just have this sense of entitlement that they've just been told they're better since like literal infancy.
Yeah.
And then they hold on to their perceptions of reality despite like not getting the results that they want, which is happiness, relationships, stable boyfriends. So, and then the guys are just pussies. They don't hold frame. They're too afraid to say no because they're going to lose access to the magical vagina because they have a scarcity mindset.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
what I think.
And you've had the experience outside of the States too to see culturally the social pressure is different.
No, man, Asia has got it figured out, my man. I've been out here. Listen, there's a reason I always come on here with a big old smile on my face. I'm not miserable like Cappy. I have to fucking live in South Dakota and hike. They still understand the differences between the sexes out here. And no, like I've just timed out my death, and I'm gonna be like good with women in Asia the way things are. It's not gonna die out in our lifetime, But I just think that, yeah, they're just seeing the repercussions of this feminist movement and how they really just got finessed pretty fucking hard. And even normie chicks are getting red pilled now. Like I'm talking about on TikTok, like that's starting to be a trend too. So I don't know. I just say, taking care of yourself is always the best way, man. Because even if you lose a girl, being a guy that is like not fat, that has his finances together, that has a little bit of dignity and self-esteem, can tell somebody no and mean it. I mean, that's really all you got to do to get a girlfriend these days, because the competition is just getting easier and easier. You guys just check out.
Have you guys seen, and anybody that wants to respond, I picked up a couple of clips from shout out to the YouTube channel called The Wall. I don't know if you guys seen it, but he was collecting nothing but TikToks from women that had ended their relationship, and they're somewhere in their 30s, and it's pretty they're pretty sour on it, and they have a lot of theories on why they destroyed their relationships or others destroyed their relationships. And it seems to be a pretty common trend that the gals are kind of venting on TikTok as if TikTok is their mirror therapist. Have you guys seen any of those clips?
No.
What they're saying?
I do want to add to John's point, though. If you're a guy who says no, you're going to get those girls on TikTok saying, like, he abused me and he said no. It's that sense of entitlement a lot of women have as well. Like, how dare you say no to me? I am used to getting my way. So that's a thing, too. Just wanted to add it.
Okay.
The frames all switched, man. The frames all switched. Women got they're too strong a frame, and dudes are just pussies. If guys, like I heard, did you guys see Tommy Sotomayor on Pearl's channel the other day?
No.
He said, like, if men uniformly got together and said, we're gonna put every fucking woman in a cage, we could do it. We really could. But on the other side of the coin, they could never pull that off. So then I don't know why these guys are just so afraid. It's just, I don't know. It's beyond me. It's good to be me, though. I'm glad I'm free. I'm not worried about the normies.
There's all these guys that are scared of the women, and the women are only like 5 feet tall. Like, why are you so scared?
I don't know.
Well, because they got the power of the state behind them in some regards.
Yeah,
that's in their mind.
They got Uncle Sam backing them up.
Yeah, like Terrence Popp talks about administrative violence that women use in the workplace and also in the courtroom. Like, that's terrifying. Like, I went through that. Well, I didn't personally go through that, but I saw my friends go through administrative violence. And guys, for example, when I was in the Navy, the highest ranking enlisted guy on the ship, which is the command master chief, he literally said for when the Vice President Pence was coming, he said, everyone on the ship, clap your hands like you're at a strip club. He just said that. And then there was a girl who was a CNN reporter, made the story about how he said that and how it was an offensive on a Navy ship. And he got discharged from the Navy instantly because of that. Yeah. This guy, 30-year career, only to be a CNN reporter, to be like, that offended me, and he lost his career.
So essentially, back in the day, when, grass was barely starting to grow, I would stand there with a shotgun protecting the woman or the daughter. Right now, it's the government doing it. They're the shotgun. And it's pretty indiscriminate. So I can understand why guys are afraid initially, but that fear also doesn't do them any favors if they want to engage in a relationship.
No, but then work around that fear. Like, and of course, Rob always says this as well. The one true God is the state. And he's not wrong. Death and taxes are a certainty from a certain point of view.
We got thousands of years to say that. Yeah. For sure.
But like, then ask yourself, and this is my big problem with Black Pill and things like that. Instead of saying, oh, it's like that, give up. Ask yourself, how can you work around it? Now, prenups, opinions are divided about that. Some say it works. Some say they get thrown out. I don't know exactly how that works. James Sexton once said that no, prenups hold up in court. So you always have that option if you want to get married. But also, as Cappy once said, if you go for an LTR and the girlfriend, don't live together. And if you do it, just make her pay rent. Always have the house in your name. Things like that. There are still options that prevent you from getting that shotgun pointed at your face.
I talk about it in my book. There's right now, there's 2 states that are not community property states that have a default 50-50 custody rule and don't recognize common law marriage. That's Florida and Kentucky. So if you live in those 2 states, you can live together, you can raise a family and not get the government involved in your relationship. And you'll be less screwed. I say less screwed because if you bring kids in, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be married or anything. You're still going to be paying child support.
Right.
But there's no getting around that. But if you don't have kids, yeah, that's probably the safest solution there.
How many of our audience do you think has kids?
That's a good question, actually.
25% maybe ish.
Well,
I wouldn't.
I don't know.
Even-
I
think
attract a
lower
bunch
than
of
that.
old people to my channel, so we got a decent amount.
We got a couple of illegitimate children running around.
oh my.
Yeah, you're one of them down there, Mr. Miami shirt. Yeah.
Hey, Florida, we're doing it right. You're not going to come with none of that bullshit on us. But yeah, like, I don't know, man. Look, the way I look at things now, instead of like getting around and commiserating about it, like the way I look at things is just, while everything's, circling the drain, I don't know, like people are freaking out. I just feel like there's less and less people working hard.
That is true.
Just like if you just get your ass to work, you can make a fortune right now because there's so many dumb people out there that don't want to work and just crying.
Well,
Yeah.
John, I hate to admit it again. John actually said something intelligent this time. I mean,
Don't make me pull out my bachelor's degree, my psychology degree on you. All right.
Yeah, but it's doing the work. Look, you're born, you exist, and you just go look at your average. And this isn't to slam on the Zoomers or the millennials or whatever, but Jesus fucking Christ, come on. Like, get out of the house, go work out, go do something, go become physically attractive, both the males and the females. If you're going to put in no effort, well, then you can't possibly expect counter reciprocal effort investment from other people. Not to mention commitment from a woman. You have to be attractive. And then I think, Paul, because you let yourself go, would you say that? No, you did. You admit it, right?
It's true.
Yeah, you were married. You let yourself go. Did it get to the like you were naturally attracted to each other, or did you have to start negotiating and pulling teeth?
Man, it got to the point at the end where like I just didn't even want to sleep in the same room with her. So it wasn't even like I was trying to negotiate. I was like, "Fuck this! I'm going to sleep in another room. Like I don't even like you."
Right. So relationships, especially the romantic variety, are very selfless. You have to think about what the other person wants. So, and in women's case, not what they say they want, but what they actually want. And it's not hard. Be tall, be good looking, be a provider, and stuff like that. And for the girls, the same thing. Stop nagging, stop petting stupid questions, be attractive, support, and more like, it's not that difficult. And have sex.
Stop ordering crystals from Etsy.
Stop having pillows.
Let me ask you guys.
Cappy.
Let me ask
Cappy.
you guys a question. Oh, go ahead, Thor. Sorry.
I was just gonna say one of the big things when you do any of the AI searches on why couples grow apart, and it's all the popular stuff, is growing apart over time. This comes from a lot of the women's websites, but they say that growing apart over time, people change, and if 2 people no longer share the same interests and goals, they're no longer compatible. I would say that's bullshit, and that while people have different interests, that can actually enhance the relationship. And I think it's more along what you were saying is the laziness side is just an excuse to say we're growing apart. What say you?
Yeah, no, you're
apart?
100% right, because what's really worked, not to how my life works, but me and the GF, like, I'm going for a 2-week motorcycle ride, babe. See ya. Bye. She's like, I'm gonna go visit my family and have a good time with them. I'm like, have fun with mom, like it's like happy. And then she has her life, I have mine, and I think people have to maintain their individuality because that's what attracted you to that person in the first place, at least psychologically. And if you stick around together too much, you're like, no, you gotta get the hell away from him. You gotta let the dog out. Don't worry, he'll come back. He'll be a much happier dog because he chased a rabbit or something like that. So yeah, when they say, "Oh, we just grew apart," no, that's also, you didn't maintain your intellectual edge either. You didn't get hobbies. You didn't pursue some kind of intellectual endeavors. You became a boring person. And kind of related, I would also say that another thing you were talking about, atrophy. We're always constantly fighting atrophy. I say we're always constantly fighting laziness. Another thing like gravity is just constantly on it is novelty, where you would get sick of the same person no matter who it was. You give me Eva Mendes, put Eva Mendes in my house for like 7 days. By the 7th day, I'd be like, yeah, I need you to get the fuck out of here.
Well, she's got a few years on the clock now anyway, man.
Right. But
are you sure, Cappy? We say we're going to put an ad on, grandma house over here.
Well, no. There's no ad. No. There's no. Grandma's in another state. No, get the fuck out of here. But when it comes to novelty, dude, you got to change things up.
Like, what you're saying?
What's that?
Cheating is the way.
In a very practical,
it is a way.
It is a way. But what I was going to say is something
for her.
different,
Keeps her fresh,
especially as it pertains to women. Is ladies, change up your fucking hairstyle.
Yeah,
wear some sexy lingerie a little bit different. You have all these accoutrements. The nails are a little bit different. It doesn't even matter if it looks better or not. The fact it's different actually goes a long way. And that's just one example. But men, it's the same thing. Like, hey, take her out, surprise her with ballroom dance classes. Keep some kind of novelty or something else going on. Because, if you get together now, it's just cruising altitude and we just sit and look at each other. Yeah, it's fucking over. It was over before it started.
To piggyback off what you're saying there, Cappy, there's a thing that happens when people are together for a long time, right? It's called fusion, where their personalities start melding. And that's where you start getting people that are, they have the same mannerisms because they've been around each other too long. And you got to understand that proximity causes familiarity, and that familiarity causes attraction to decrease, and attraction grows in space. So you got to be able to introduce some kind of space in the relationship at some point, even if it's as simple as not texting all fucking day with your girlfriend or wife. Just save some of those conversations for when you're in person, because your great grandparents didn't have text messages. So when he was at the factory all day or working out in the fields and shit, they actually missed each other when they came home, and they had something to talk about over dinner.
No, man, they had a subscription to pigeons. Pigeons all
send pigeon messages, but they actually miss each other. They had stuff to talk about when they saw each other, and they had time apart. And that kind of like that space is actually healthy for a relationship. But a lot of people they have this myth of if the attraction's waning, I got to chase her and shit, or vice versa. And it's just like you're suffocating each other. Give each other.
That's a really good actionable advice. That's really
Thor,
good.
You were asking about studies earlier.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm just a man of science. I have a bachelor's in science and psychology. And what I learned during that time, during one of these studies, was that a man's testosterone levels, when he cohabitates with a woman, they do go down. You do know that. But do you guys know there's a certain variable that stops them from going down? Do you guys know what that is?
Smashing other chicks.
It's banging other girls.
I'm actually being just around.
Is it just being around them too?
Yeah, being around them as well.
That's one of the biggest boosters out there. That
sounds like some beta male did that study. I don't know. I like how women.
It's true. It actually gets worse during pregnancy, and there's probably natural reasons for that.
Yeah, there is, because he wanted the guy to nurture, don't you? You want the guy to be there and not run
He's
off.
a protector and provide. And if he's a little bit more sexually aggressive, the females don't like that. It bounces right back to Berfault's law. So the guys that did better were the guys that would lose a little bit of testosterone when they hooked up with those girls.
Yeah. Right? Non-stop Dre in the chat is a guy also with low testosterone. Look at these fucking comments, man.
Oh no, man! Dre is not the highest testosterone of all.
Cappy's biggest fan.
Troy, you've been gone a while. Let me introduce you to Dre. Pray he doesn't come into your super chats. Listen,
his testosterone is through the fucking floor.
Oh yeah, he is Cappy's well endowed black man in Asia and Saudi Arabia.
Magical black penis. Yes.
Cappy would know.
What do you guys think of this quote by Patrice O'Neill? Right, rest in peace. He says women are so focused on being lovable that they forgot how to be likable. Meaning they'll go on TikTok, they'll go on YouTube, they'll make whole podcast channels, social media accounts about how they deserve love and connection and all that stuff, but they don't know how to make they don't know how to be a pleasure to be around. Meaning I ask girls this, like, if I walk through the door and it looked like I was pissed off, had a long day from work or whatever, and what would you do, right? And most girls would be like, I'd run to you and give you a kiss and hug you, and I'm like, no, you leave me alone until I'm ready to like process the day, and then I'll open up, right? So a lot of girls don't even have the skills to be a wife or a girlfriend or someone that's
or a
fun
mother
to be around. Yeah, anything.
Yeah, that's
right?
actually my third question when I do that 25 assessment on added values and liabilities is exactly that. Does she actually like you? Is she likable?
Yeah, is she a person that you want to be around for the rest of your life? And guys only focus on the tits and the ass and
the trophy. Yeah,
the trophy
Sure.
side. I'm like, dude, you're gonna have to wake up next to this person almost every day for the next who knows how long. Like, is she a likable person? Is she easy to be around? And that's
Beauty
why
fades, but bitchy and insufferable is forever.
Yeah, that stays forever. And that's why you see a lot of these guys, like in these affluent communities around Dallas, especially, where they have a wife, but the wife's not the prettiest girl, but she knows her place in the relationship.
That's
I mean,
actually
ideally
important.
you want a bit of both, don't you? I mean, you want to start where she's hot, or at least she's she's sufficiently your type, and you're connected to that level, and also she's fucking pleasant to be around, and that's quite hard to find, but you can find it, and that's where you want to start, and then obviously everyone's going to say whatever.
You guys remember Walter E. Williams? He passed away. He was a regular sub-host for Rush Limbaugh. He was an economist at Georgia. So he always said, "Men, let me tell you how to train your wives." And there is a fair amount of to also keep the relationship together. Is I think men, because we want to be nice and kind, we tolerate stuff that we don't like. And it's not like she's banging some other guys, but it's in frame related, but where, for example, you have to set rules, and the word no is probably one of the best words to use in relationships. So my girlfriend wants to come in and talk about boring ass shit.
And red shoes or the blue shoes.
And I'm just like, no, we're not. I'm trying to remember some stupid. It's so petty.
Don't you remember?
What?
That was our first podcast together. You get there, you invite me on.
No.
The first thing you say is, Jack, if you see me like this, what am I doing? Like, typing.
Oh, yeah.
Typing. Why is the GF coming in? Do you like the red shoes or the blue shoes?
So there, and just for if you are, I'm trying to figure out the right words. If you are annoyed by petty questions, whether it's do you like this or that, or usually girls want to offload decisions to you, which is an abdication of responsibility and work, or they're just talking about boring stuff, you have every right to say, I don't care. We're not talking about this. No. And that's going to go a long way, because otherwise it's there's death by 1,000 cuts. Well, there's death by 1,000,000 mosquito bites, and that will start to annoy and aggravate you. Whereas if early on or at any point in time you say, we're no longer talking about these petty things, please think before you speak to me, especially if I'm coming off of work. Like, I don't care about boopsy boo and bopsy bee, the little chatty chat room, like whatever it is, nonsense to say. If you're going to talk to me, it must be about something germane, important, practical, or sexy and fun and flirtatious.
Right.
I am not here to make your decision on what type of sweater to wear. That also goes a long way, where you put down the foot and you say, this type of conversation, which is ultimately going to be a drag on my attraction to you, is not allowed. And so in general, the larger policy is it's okay to use the word no and say, we're not doing this.
Oh, I like where Kathy's going on this, because he's really given actionable advice on how he has handled not destroying his relationship. He's had clear boundaries, expectations. I'd love to go through the panel and let them answer that question on what preventions you guys use. Who here's in a long-term relationship? Just curiosity. I am. Oh, okay. All right. Or at least give your opinion on how you might approach it if you're single. But what do you guys think about that? I mean, I like where Cappy went with that.
Yeah, I've got one
I would add too.
Go ahead, Paul. If my girlfriend talked at all, she never talks, so that's why she's so awesome. No, but I've been in relationships where they want to tell me everything about their day, and then they go off on all these side tangents. Have you ever seen that meme where it's like a man telling a story and it's a train track, and then a woman telling a story is one of those like train switching stations and they're going off on. It's okay when your girl's telling you about your day, because most women do want to feel heard and understood, but it's okay to say, you know what, honey, give me the guy's version of this. Can you give me the guy's version of this? I want to hear what you're saying, but give me the guy's version. It's okay to say that, you know. And a lot of guys don't think that. A lot of guys think that they have to sit there and listen to all their women's bullshit and be her emotional tampon. That's not necessarily true.
Ask her to tell you the ending first. The ending of the story first. That helps.
Oh, that's good too.
Yeah, you can just fake it out though every time. I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like, yeah. Like I'm just like, yep. And I'm just not even listening. I'm like playing video game or something.
Occasionally you got to repeat the last thing you heard back though. Yeah. That's a good way of doing that. You're like, oh, and he said this and that. Cool.
Or
and then you're thinking about what you're going to wear tomorrow and like your all the tasks you're going to do. Yeah.
Agree just a bit. Like she said that. What a bitch.
Yeah.
So do you guys ever find a place when you're talking with them where it's actually you enjoy having the conversation with them? You find those spots too?
Yeah.
No, let her talk.
I just let my girl go. It's fun. I let my kids just go. They tell me about their stay at school and whatever. It's fun.
Just let them get it all out, you know. Just blah blah blah.
Okay. Oh wow. Ooh, that's interesting. What
a little bit of a different. Yeah, I got that.
What I find with my daughter, because my daughter runs her mouth. She gets that from her mom. She will come up and word vomit on me on a bunch of stuff. And if I'm really busy with something, what I'll tell her is I go, honey, I want to give you my full attention, but I'm right in the middle of something. Can we get back to this in a little bit? But because I don't want to, half listen to you and stuff like that. So it's okay to, let them know like, hey, we will talk about this, but right now is not a good time. I think that's acceptable as well.
I've had to do that a few times.
There was only one time where I legitimately told my girl at the time to just shut up.
Jack, you don't have a girlfriend. You make
no, not now, but back
you
then.
Lied.
Okay, his name is Fred, but
she goes to another school. Guys, I swear.
My dad works at Nintendo. No, but this was years.
Do you see all the people cheering me on and sending money in the chat? They don't do that for you.
What are you talking about? I had pretty good super chats the other day.
Everybody likes me. They're happy I'm back. We're
gonna get to those and we'll be specific with it too. That's good, John. That's
But Thor, listen, I gotta go to a nightclub and drink alcohol. I got invited.
Aw.
But I want to just come
too
in.
Bad you're going away there, John. We're really gonna miss
happy. I'm gonna go do it.
You want to go ahead? If you want to go now, you want to kind of tell everybody where you've been, what you've been doing, and
no. I just came here for you, buddy. I love you so much.
Man. You guys too, brother.
Thor. Thor's the fucking man. Thor, listen, let me just tell you guys something. I've been on a little bit of a sabbatical. Okay. I've pulled away looking at all this YouTube stuff going on here. And I know everybody on, you want to be like the cool guy on, don't even make this big. You guys want to be the guy, that cool guy with the Lambo, or this fucking dickhead over here who's scamming you, and this guy over here, or whatever. All I'll say is this is comes from my perspective. Okay. Thor is a man's man, and he is a genuine shining example of masculine wisdom that can be beneficial to anybody who is in a rough spot. Because right now, historically speaking, in the West, guys are in a tough spot. And, I know that I set out, I didn't set out to do this shit to be popular. I just happened to become popular, but I set out, that's what you guys know me for, Money Muscles Game Frame. I want to help as many men as possible. And dating back till 2019, when me and Thor started talking, I have been helping thousands and thousands of men with my community, and Thor has been a direct help with that. Thor and Wraith and all the guys are part of the Masculine Empowerment Network. I'm not trying to fucking sell shit either. I don't give a fuck if you buy my stuff or not. All right. But the point I'm trying to make here is there's a lot of fucking smoke and mirror and all this bullshit going on out there, but really hardcore, good, solid people like you have on this panel. Even that miserable fucking cunt, Aaron Clary, is a good man. He's a good man, and what he says makes great sense, and he's a great guy. and he's the most Jewish fucking schmuck I know. but I love him. But
And there
anyways,
goes the monetization.
Thank you, John.
Not to take anything away from you, Thor. The point I'm trying to make is, Thor, you're a great guy. You're a great role model, and honestly, I endorse every single thing that you do. And you're the only reason I came here is because you asked me, and because you're the fucking man, buddy.
I appreciate that, man. I hope we get to see you again. Now I know I will in real life because we spent time together, and I appreciate that. Thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate that. All the best of luck to you. I know you're living the dream, brother.
You know what, baby. Talk to you guys later. I love you. Peace out.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, John.
Oh wow.
Troy, what do you think about all this stuff, man? As far as couples, I'll just take it back in a different direction now, and then the panel can answer. One of the big hitters I seen when I did the kind of the brief research on this, why couples destroy their relationships, is finances seems to be a problem. We'll start with Troy and then end with Cappy, because I bet he has something to say on the finances that couples, the mistakes they do.
Well, I mean, I wonder what it is around finances that causes it to fuck up. I mean, it seems like, you know, I mean,
that's what they cite. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but it's sort of like, is it because
it's a very blurry,
if she wants you, basically she say it's because you're not earning enough. You know, she wants a certain lifestyle, you're not fucking earning enough.
Mm-hmm.
That could be an issue. The other thing is as well, if there's a change in finances, like you lose your job or your source of income gets cut off.
Oh, that's a big deal right there.
What we all want really is a woman who's a ride or die. You know, we want the woman who's gonna, you know, your business got tanks or whatever, you lose your cash and, you know, your income stream, and she's gonna be there and she's gonna fucking support it. Now, how many women realistically will do that in 2024 is I don't know. I think there are women who will for a period of time, but that's what you want. And I think if you're with somebody, this is the danger of getting into something that's too transactional. If you're, you know, I mean, if you're like you're set for life and you're a multi-millionaire, okay, fine, maybe that's all right. But I mean, otherwise, you know, you're providing a certain lifestyle. If that is the primary thing that she likes you for, and then that gets taken away, then you're fucked, basically. So you've got to find a woman who is there for reasons of genuine desire. Okay, primarily. The money may help to sort of like ease the way, but you've got to try and be sure that you're with somebody who's actually there because she fucking likes you.
It's like what Rob said last night on Red Evening with Jack Napier. He said he wants a girl that has grit. You know, a girl that has grit. That means she'll stick through whatever's going on in the relationship, whether it's good or bad. And those women are very rare.
No, I think that's what you're looking for. Now, how difficult that is, how easy that is to find. I mean, I wouldn't look for it in Miami necessarily, like that. But
yeah, it can be super difficult.
But you've just got to make sure. You've got to, like, and this is the problem that rich dudes have. Everyone thinks, oh, yeah, you're rich. It's, you know, you get these fucking idiots on Twitter or on X or whatever, and YouTube comments go, yeah, man, the solution is have money. Well, no, it isn't the fucking solution, you dork, because you got money. Okay, that may attract a certain.
Now you get the predators. Now you get the pros coming out.
Right. If you don't know how to if you don't understand how to conduct a relationship, you're fucked. You're screwed.
Yeah. Crypto thoughts.
You're going to attract the wrong people to you.
It's like when
you get to a certain threshold of money, when you have a certain level of wealth and notoriety, like the predators come out.
Yeah,
the professional like gold diggers come out. Not
the pros.
Look at what happened with Fresh, right?
Yeah,
snipers. They're coming out,
especially if you're in the game,
trying to steal sperm from your condoms and stuff.
Oh, remember the NBA? The manager of the NBA telling their players, like, "Hey, man, like, buy your own condoms."
What's his name? Put hot sauce in his condom.
Yeah, they put hot sauce in the damn thing. The girl tried to sue him, right? Because of that.
I think
she tried to extract the sperm from the condom, and he had hot sauce put into it, and she got burned or something.
Yeah. Was that Drake? Was that Drake?
I think that was Drake.
Was it Drake?
Yeah, he still got got.
Yeah,
he still got got.
Drake got dick napped.
Yeah,
dick napped.
Yeah, you guys don't know that word, dick napped?
No.
I think as a regular guy, you don't have to worry about that as much. You know, if you're not a millionaire or super clouded or famous, you don't have to worry about women like digging, but still control the birth. You know, like still, you know, like
you
Chinese,
gotta do that.
Chinese prostitutes are everywhere. You never know.
Yeah,
Never
but
know.
Prostitutes are everywhere.
yeah, I think so. Right now, I
The
saw an
the border's
article.
open. Yeah, the border's open. They're just pouring through.
So
I
Newt,
saw
how do you screen? I mean, you're not in a long-term relationship now, are you?
Who's
no,
that?
but
But you've been in them, right?
yeah, yeah. So one of the strangest things, especially for guys that are dating, is transitioning from dating multiple women to one. And I think a lot of the times, like your ego gets into it, and you're just like, I used to be a killer, like now I'm going to go meet this woman's mother. Like I feel like a pussy, right? But understand too that
Holding
like
a person in the mall.
yeah, and then a lot of times, like you as a guy, you have to realize like women don't want 100% alpha, but they don't want 100% beta. If you have to choose, be the alpha, right? But they want 100,
80-20,
80%,
80.
yeah, 80-20, maybe 90-10, depending if what type of girl she is, and you have to be able to balance that, right? And that's if you can be that and learn to manage your woman's emotions. Like one of the biggest things men are afraid of is their women's emotions, right? Like they see a girl, his girl crying, right? They like rush to do everything possible to comfort her. I'm like, no, dude, let her cry. Like if you said something mean to her, but that you mean it, let her cry because she's testing you right now. That's a test. So don't be afraid of your woman's emotions. And in terms of like finances, giving women stuff doesn't make them like you more ever. It just makes them more entitled, right? So if you're a guy that you led with your alpha side, you're kind of like charm, you're exciting, you manufacture drama, whatever you need to do, and then you start giving her flowers every Sunday. There's going to be one Sunday where you forget and she's going to be like, where are my flowers? Right. And that's just, whereas another girl, you never give flowers to, you give her one little rose that you picked or one little flower you picked on the side of the road. And she's going to treasure that flower and hold it on and tell her friends, oh, he gave me a flower today. So that's how women are. The more you give them stuff, the more entitled they get. And it does, and guys want to take the easy route. I'm like, let me give her a nice dinner. Let me do this nice things for her. And it's just like, no, that doesn't make her like you more. It just makes her more entitled. It just makes her expect it next time. You're going to wear out, right? Because you're going to be tired of like thinking up all these contrived ways, these nice dates and all that stuff. And all the girls on Twitter are going to clap for you. Like, what a man. But in reality, you're fucking tired, right? Whereas there's guys that give her a pebble and say, here, she's like, oh my God, thank you. And then life's easy. So never lead with money, like Troy's saying, because it's gonna exhaust you, right? So yeah.
Do you guys think that most of us men, let's just take the most being like that 80%, have a tendency to want to don those wife goggles quickly? And
Well,
that's a problem with the relationship.
I think a lot of men do, but that's because it's the old thing. They don't have options, right? Or they don't, they don't feel that they've got like any there's nothing else going on basically. So I think it should be the opposite. I think the men should be holding it as long as fucking possible, against getting, putting the shackles on, really, because you want to, apart from anything else, you want to be screening. I mean, you don't want to be the fucking dork who's just like, okay, the first girl who touches my pee-pee, right, we're good to go. I mean, absolutely not. You want to be the opposite of that, really. It should be an effort for her to tie you down. Really, do you know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't get into a long-term relationship ultimately, or even whatever you want to do, right? Because like Thor said, I think in the end, I think most guys actually do want that in some shape or form. So we can't pretend it's like this beta thing, and you've just got to be a player forever, because it's just that's not really how most people roll. But she should be the one time looking to lock you down, and you should hold out really for as long as possible. It's almost like reversing the old, the old thing where the guys had to do all these like, the knights in shining armor had to do all these like different quests to kind of get the girl. It should almost be spun round. So she has to do the challenges and the quests to lock you down.
I see Cappy laugh at the quests.
It's
like
a
video
different
game,
thing.
right?
Continue, Troy. Continue. I'm sorry.
No, that was it really. But I mean, I think you almost want to flip the paradigm. Now you might say, or she might, some woman that you're dealing with might say, well, why the fuck do I have to go through all these hoops to get with you? And you're like, well, okay, suck it up. If you don't want it, you don't want it, right? But you're looking for the woman, because you're looking for a woman who's going to be a ride or die. You want her to make an effort to be with you, not the other way around, where you're just on the first day and you're like, yeah, well, I'm looking to get married within the next 2.5 years, and then you just fucking you give away the house within the first 2 weeks. It's just a bad way to operate, in my opinion.
I mean, like that's the tradcons, the tradcons on Twitter. They all see
Just
marriage
marry
as
her,
a
bro.
that's cool. Yeah, as like that'll solve all your problems. I'm like, dude, it solves nothing. You still got to be the man.
I know it doesn't solve anything, but I mean, like legal marriage, okay, it's problematic, but that's not even the main issue, really. It's the main issue is, are you just giving up the farm or whatever? You're giving up the family jewels at the first meeting, more or less. I mean, that is just a bad way to fucking operate, you know? You should, I mean, again, it's all the old cliches, but you should be the prize, you know, and you should act like the prize. And if she doesn't perceive you as the prize, then you should let her go and she can, you know, find someone else, right? And that's the frame you should be operating in.
That's why, like, what I like to tell guys to do is when you're out dating and spinning plates, you want to be testing for interest and testing a woman's ability to follow your lead, because some women just aren't going to follow your lead, right? And one of the ways you do that is by telling them to do stuff. You know, and I'm not saying you don't ask them, you tell them like, "Hey, meet me here at this time," and they're like, "Okay." Yeah, that they're following your lead then, right? It's like they're not even thinking about it. But there's some women that are like, wait a second, you're kind of bossy. Well, fuck you, bitch. You know, like
women can fake that in the beginning. Women can fake that in the beginning as well, and then later on they turn on you, and you still have to deal with that shit.
Which is Nuke and I were talking about that on Thursday night. We were saying how it's good to not get exclusive with these chicks, you know, and give yourself some time to observe their behavior, because they'll be on their best behavior for the first 6 months to a year. And then their real colors come out, you know? So you've got to give yourself some time to observe their behavior.
I would also add, very important, because once you get into the relationship, kind of going off of what Nuke and Troy said, where you got to reserve yourself when you're in the relationship. And I think this is a trap many men fall into, is I don't think there's a single guy here that wants to treat women poorly or want to be a dick. Like, if you found a gal that you loved enough that you married, you like that girl a lot. And it's logical and natural to want to you want to treat her nice all the time. Problem is, you're going to spoil her. And you have to, you know, that 80-20 rule, you know, you cannot be buying her flowers all the time. You might want to, but you really have to, like, no, you gotta really guard yourself. And I'm not saying don't love and don't do nice things, but don't spoil them at the same time. And so being a little aloof, being a little not even guarded, but like, no, saying, no, will you get the fuck out of here and let me read my comic book? Like, you have to kind of say no every once in a while.
In all honesty, are you even capable of love, Cappy? Let's be honest.
Not really, no.
Cappy's dead inside.
Everything is an economic transaction.
I love that stuff, though, because you do have to emotionally connect with the ones you like, and there's ways to do that. One of the ways is those negs that Cappy's talking about. Another one is emotional spiking on the other side, where when you leave the reward, it's substantial, and they appreciate that, and that lasts a long time. That's part of a man's burden of performance, is to recognize that if he wants to maintain good long-term relationship. I notice with these famous people and a lot of folks, they really think their burden of performance is something different. Have you guys ever looked at a lot of the famous men out there that as soon as they are in public, if it wasn't for my wife, I wouldn't even be standing here. I'd be a little dripping puddle of diarrhea without her wiping my butt constantly.
Will Smith.
And this, they think, is fulfilling their burden of performance. Remember, you know, you need to have space. You need to have an absence so she longs for you. Whatever that is, whether it's mentally, emotionally, physically, there has to be a mystery. There has to be some excitement. Guess what? You're the only one that generates it. You are the only one that generates it.
Troy, can I give an incredible bit of advice very closely related to that? You know, if you're going to be living with this gal, you absolutely need separate rooms. That's my office. That's your office. You know, do not go in there. If I'm in there, I have a rule. When I'm in my office, she's not allowed in. I don't care if there's a tornado or the house is on fire. I have incredibly, like, when I'm not there, you could go in there and do flips for all I care. But you absolutely need separate rooms to talk to, like Paul, where you're working or something, your daughter comes up, and it's not, and maybe there's an element of mystery and all that, but it's a very clear, like, no, that is the fortress of solitude. I have my own shit. You have your own shit. it's absolutely critical that you have your own places, but that codifies or puts into reality what you're talking about, Thor.
Yeah, well,
that shows a high level of respect too when you do that. I have that.
Yeah,
that shows a really high level of respect.
It goes back to the being likable thing. Like like if you go through TikToks, all these psychologists, scientists, podcasts, they're all arguing about why women should be more lovable, how to be more lovable, right? We're talking about submissive and being all these things, but deep down, and anyone lived with a girl and the girl has been quiet all afternoon, how awesome was that? It was the best thing ever.
It's the best thing about Nurse Chick, man.
In all honesty, I kind of disagree. Like, I get where you are coming from. Like, silence compared to nagging is like, I prefer the silence, but I do like the talkative type. But that's me.
On your terms, like when you feel like it. But
yeah, that is true. Like, speak when spoken to kind of thing.
You know, a lot of guys like to bitch and complain about women's nagging, but honestly, nagging is a good barometer about your ability to lead the relationship. Because if you're in the leading the relationship properly, and you're saying the direction, and you're making decisions, you're doing all the things that you should be doing, Jack Napier. But you should be doing. But you do all that kind of stuff, she's gonna be less likely to nag. A lot of times, women nag because you're not doing those things. You're not taking the lead. And now she's in the position of she's taken the manager role in the relationship, and now she's directing traffic.
She's bitter. That makes women so bitter. Yeah.
That's where the nagging comes from. And now she fucking resents you because she doesn't want to be in that position.
And then she argues with Nuke and Mish on Twitter.
That's true. Then there's another level.
And then who's the strange man online?
And they pay for Tadashi's food now because that's Twitter's paying out pretty good.
And there's another level to that too. The nagging's a great indicator. There's another indicator too. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but if you've been in a long-term relationship that's relatively, seemingly effortless, you guys get along, the woman becomes very good at planting seeds. And that's not that she's manipulating you, but instead of running up against the wall she knows that you're going to put up, she works around it in a very strategic and loving way. And pretty soon you're sitting there thinking, well, she said that the other day, but is that really a no? And you start to think about it. And sometimes you're in a direction that's actually very useful to you. Have you guys ever experienced that?
Yeah, Nurse Chick does that. And I like to. I always like to use the analogy of or the not the analogy, but the example of what do you want to eat for dinner, right? I learned a while back never to ask, just make a fucking decision. We're eating here. And she knows that I will do that. And so if she really does want something, she will suggest something now. And so she will do that kind of thing. She's like, what do you think about this for dinner tonight? And I'm like, sounds great. Perfect. Yeah. We never have a problem with any of that because she knows I'll make a decision if she doesn't come up with a suggestion.
I once broke my golden rule of shut up in the workplace to a coworker of mine who was bitching about his girlfriend. Like, she never knows what she wants to eat. I'm like, then you decide, and when she says no, then she can starve. And that kind of got I kind of got the looks where I'm like, oh shit, I said the quiet part out loud.
Well, yeah, it's always like likable is the number one thing you worry about in a relationship because you got to be with this person for a long time. So you have to either let her know, hey, don't do this. Like and guys are like, how do I make my girlfriend not do something? You tell her.
You'll walk.
Tell her. That's it. Hey, I don't like when my girlfriend bothers me when I'm in the office. Well, do like Cappy. Hey, don't go in my office when I'm in there. See how hard that was?
They're not mind readers. They're not mind readers.
Super easy.
Cappy's like this giant 10-inch thick door with like an eye window in it. Like, go away, and he closes it.
What's the password?
Cappy, are you on the PS5 in there? What are you doing in there?
Yeah.
No, I got my.
It's hard,
girl.
but it's simple,
Yeah. Again, no. The word no. It doesn't matter how you say it. I prefer to put the emphasis word behind no called fucking, but preceding no. So I say fucking no, but it's up to you how you deploy the use of the word no. Right. Just use the word no. And they might be a little offended but they'll be fine. They're not like, don't be a dick about it like I am, but just say, no, we're not doing that.
And you don't have to explain yourself either. Like a lot of no, because just say no. I don't like this.
Broken record. Right.
There's a whole book. There's a whole book about this called "When I Say No, I Feel Guilty."
I feel guilty.
Because guys we were taught to say yes and to be like society's slaves and to do everything we're told. But like when a guy says no for the first time, it's the scariest thing in his life because he's just like, fuck, I just said that. What's going to happen now? I've never said no to somebody, you know?
I want my meat.
What's great about that book is it really gives you some insight in how people are manipulating you on a daily basis, and they don't even realize it, you know. And when I was listening to that book, every example in there was how my mom talks to me. Everything in there is a fucking
Your
guilt
mom
trip.
talk to you?
Oh yeah, and it's annoying. It's always a guilt trip, right? For example, here's a good example, right? Tomorrow's Mother's Day.
Here comes Paul with the trauma dump. Tell
Yeah,
us
here
about
it is.
mother.
Guys, this is my therapy session. Shut up. So tomorrow's Mother's Day. And so I'm going to drop my son off at his mom's house so he can spend the day with his mother. And then I'm going to go over to my mom's house and hang out with her for the day. And so I tell my mom this, and she goes, "Oh, your son doesn't want to hang out with me?" Like, it's not, he's hanging out with his mother on Mother's Day. Are you fucking kidding me right now?
Exactly.
So how did you handle that? Negative assertion, negative inquiry, fogging? Which one you do?
It was almost like, I was just very matter of fact. I said, he's hanging out with his mother on Mother's Day. I didn't ask him. He's doing that.
Yeah, that's a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get in their emotions and grandmas and stuff, you know.
Yeah. Well, it's like, well, it's their solipsism, right? Because if it was in reverse, if it was Father's Day and all of a sudden my ex-wife decided that my son was going to go hang out with his grandfather on his mother's side, my mom would flip out. You're his father. Why isn't he hanging out with you this day? Right? It's like,
that's another reason why couples destroy their relationships. And you guys have experienced this. I've experienced this. When you enter in a long-term relationship, in some cases, one of the screening things that I work with people on before is, you know, we say compatibility, but some of the marriages or long-term relationships you enter with a woman is you buy their family too, and it's all about their family, all about their holidays. There is nothing on your side anymore. And this is stressed strongly in certain cultures. And it really does. I've seen it tear relationships apart. Like, oh no, it's this holiday. My mother's always done it. My father's always done this. We can't go to yours. We can't go to both. It varies from Christmas to whatever. You ever see the girls try to schedule a event on a holiday where there's family conflict because somebody wanted to do it? That's a war, and it starts to bleed over, and then they want to take sides and get the husband involved. I've seen it.
That's where you gotta learn to fucking
lay down the law.
Like my number one boundary will always be toxic family members. Like if she has toxic family or whatever, I am not coming.
Yeah.
I don't care. Oh, my aunt and my mom, I don't give a shit. We're not going. I'm not going. It's like I have broken relationships over that shit.
Really?
Like hell no. And there was one time that I did go, and I kind of dropped the nuke somewhere where something about a sister and mom wasn't allowed to know, and everybody was lying, and I misspoke. Everybody all of a sudden knew, and it's like,
well,
what did you say?
Guys don't want to be the bad guy. They just want to be the good guy, right? You have to like that dark side of you, that dark triad, you have to bring it out sometimes, and she wants it. Like you have to be the bad guy.
Is it dark triad though? I think that's just some healthy self-respect where it's like you have to remember this. A lot of guys do not remember this, that and Thor brought that up, where it's like, if you go for the long-term relationship, and let's say you want to get married, you want to have the kids and blah, 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 her family will become your family. How many guys do not think of that? Now, Cappy, you and I know where it's like we give a hard no. But how many guys out there are like, oh, it'll be fine? Who do you think is going to babysit your kids when both of you don't have the time or whatever?
She's going to want that, but you have to set that frame.
Exactly. She's going to want her parents to babysit your kids. Are her parents like white trash slob who are in crippling debt or have drug issues and alcohol problems? If so, you really want your kids to go there?
Well, whose happiness is number one? It's not
Mm-hmm.
It's your happiness, you, the individual.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. But that's why I bring it up.
Family, like they could hate me for all I care. It's just
and that's why I bring it up. Make that choice. What do you want? If that's a hard no, bring that up. But how many guys don't bring that up?
Most guys don't. Most guys have nice guy syndrome. They're they avoid conflict. They're trying to have a problem-free life. They pick their battles. It's like, no, man, you'll actually have less problems in life if you learn to speak assertively and put your foot down and tell people no.
And know what you want.
Yeah. And
I
have
have
self-respect.
I have a client that his in-laws did not allow him to live more than 15 minutes away from the house. And I'm like, holy shit, like that's just, it's over. But I would also say, if you can say no, like Nuke said, and balls to you, Nuke, I don't give a shit what the family thinks. Like, I don't care, because most families in America today are pretty fucked up. So it's the woman I'm interested in, not the family. The family is quite inconsequential.
You can't control me. One of the most like arousing things you could tell a woman is like, you can't control me. Just want to let you know that you're not in charge.
Right.
You know?
And then, but the other thing I think we're missing a great opportunity. If her family is an asset to you, go visit your family. Fine. Have a grand old time. Go do your thing. That's you. I want you to spend time with your family. Get the fuck out of, which is, okay, bye. I have the house to myself, or you need that break. And it's perfectly fine for her to go. You want her, it's healthy. Yes. Spend time with your mom. Go spend time with your kids and the family and all that. But I won't be in attendance, and that's perfectly all right.
No, I think, guys, we're going to have to wrap up soon. We got lots of super chats, but I wanted to make one final comment on at least this part. I think Cappy's really close to solving the problem of why couples destroy their relationships, and that's the man's inability to say no. Am I close on that one?
Yeah,
nice guy.
How much of this stuff needs to be like an overt conversation, and how much of it just needs to be understood, though? Because I think you can I think some of it you can sit down and you can be like, hey, listen, this is unacceptable. Yeah. But the underlying thing has always got to be, and if you do it, I will walk, and that's the thing, isn't it? It's the ability to walk away. That's the ultimate sanction that you have. You don't really have any other sanction apart from that, ultimately. So it's kind of like, look, there are certain things, and I think it's just boundaries. I don't even think it's dark triad or anything like that. I think it's just like, look, there are certain things, that go beyond the pale, and if this happens, then she has to understand, then it's done. Okay. But I don't know, you necessarily have to bang the table about everything and have it as a contract. I think in my own experience, I think what happened for me, I was I lacked frame when I was a lot younger, right? And I was in these relationships. I get fucked around a lot by these girls and stuff like that. And then as time went on, I started to acquire frame for myself. And then it was just kind of implied. They wouldn't disrespect me. They wouldn't just, I don't know, go and fucking flirt with some other dude in front of me. So they fucking know that certain behavior is off limits. You know what I mean? And I think maybe that's where we want to aim for, rather than just being super, guys think, oh, I've got to be the 2D alpha. I've got to tell that bitch, how it, and maybe you don't, right? It's just got to be understood.
A lot of it's don't talk about it, be about it.
Yeah. I mean, attention, affection, commitment is the only tools you have in that sense, but you got to know what you want. And a lot of things that might be disrespectful for you, she will not do when she's into you.
Yes.
And that's kind of like the whole paradox of women. As soon as you see her start doing shit you don't like, you remove your attention. And then you wait for if she comes back. If she doesn't, there's your answer. There's no negotiation in that. There just isn't. She has made her message very clear that she does not value your attention because she keeps pulling the fucking shit she knows pisses you off. Don't get pissed off and just remove the attention.
Yeah, the verbal boundaries it should be minimal. It should be like smaller things that maybe she genuinely doesn't understand, or like, for example, there are guys like, hey, my Sunday mornings are sacred. I don't want to do anything. Don't ever plan anything for Sunday mornings, because that's my day to like relax, maybe go do something for myself, right? And she won't know that unless you tell her, right? But for like stuff like just being a nice person to you, a decent person, that's something you don't need to explain to a human being. Human beings understand how to be nice people. So
right.
And there are certain things really that should be understood, I think. And if she doesn't, then she's just either the wrong woman for you, or she's just, she's not that into you and you need to get rid of her, or she's just, just a hoe and you need to cut her loose.
I think guys do.
304.
304. A lady of the night.
Yeah. And so just to cap this part off, I mean, you can look at the really successful long-term relationships. You consider divorce at 50%. Those aren't really considered. I mean, you knock that out, and out of that next group that's left, there's a percentage that die, and then there's a percentage that remarry. It's pretty low. It's about 20% that stick it out for a really long time. And it'd be interesting to hear what people like that have to say about sticking it out in a long-term relationship and why they don't seem to destroy their relationships, but they have up and downs. I think it's natural as a human to be in conflict with another human, particularly one you're close with occasionally. But I think grudge holding is a big problem in relationships that need to be right, that we've talked about so much, is potentially a problem in long-term relationships, and why couples, they get down to where that need to be right. My girlfriends, they do it like this, and that's the right way, and you don't love me if you don't. Or on the guy's side, well, if you're not doing this for me and you're not doing that for me, then you're not the wife. You're not for me. I think there's a lot of conflict there too. Yeah. And then of course, the media and the big hype is relationships are work. You have to do your work. And of course, it boils down to like, you men aren't doing your work. And I don't think that's fair at all. I don't think that's not only not fair, I don't think it's realistic. You get two likable people that want to be together, and the relationship kind of gets effortless over time and just requires you as the man to keep doing what you did to enter into the relationship. That's probably the best way to avoid destroying your relationship, And then of course, you probably got to stay away from all the strippers and the 304s that are after you, at least at arm's length. They can.
Don't tell me how to live my life, Thor.
Well, I was just using myself as an example. No, guys, we got lots of super chats. Paul, can you see those start? I'm actually having some visual trouble with seeing where they're at.
Yeah. You want me to bring them up?
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do any sound drops. We got a ton of them, but I'd like to acknowledge them and then let everybody give their wherewithals at the end. Is that okay, guys?
Yeah, we'll scroll all the way up to the top here with Siege D, $2 super chat. How does Cappy keep Big Mike excited about him?
I tell her no.
There you go. Another one. So we got another one here from a Nonstop Dre, $2 super chat. A power walk a day keeps the dog beating away Cappy. Another one from Nonstop Dre, $2 super chat. Cappy needs a PhD for his orgasms per capita idea.
Yes.
We have Cappy, the power walking champion, for $2, is the unwanted child from Japan and Troy. We've got Nonstop Dre, $2. Cappy never gets sick of taking Big Mike's sausage. Jesus. We got Cappy, the power walking champion, for $2. I just power walked my way into my girlfriend's pants. We have Siege D, $4.99. Whoa, John from Modern Life Dating is back. Where have you been?
Troy gone too.
Yeah, he can't ask. Yeah, where's the super chats for Troy? Guys, send a super chat for Troy real quick.
Yeah, come on, mate, you motherfuckers.
Troy just wanted to compete with my cleavage. I'll have you know, for next time, I will be wearing a dress shirt.
I don't know. I think we should have a new Manosphere championship, and that's cleavage reveal on Rule 0.
I am so.
Who's going to be the heel?
It's all about the cleavage, guys. You got to you gotta give it a bit of.
Yeah, show a little, just a little bit of areola on
that. Link in bio. Link in bio.
Make me lift again. I'm gonna get the shelf.
There we go. We got Urban Hermit for $1.99. Door handles, the gold ones. I like the gold ones. Okay. $20 super chat. Thank you for that one. Chris with $20. Good work, gentlemen. It was a pretty good episode, guys. Let's pat ourselves on the back. Cappy, the power walking champion, for $5. Women walk out because ultimately we give them incentive to, despite what the black pill says. Up to you to tell them no and live by your own standards.
Rob says it best. There's always another woman.
There's always another one.
That was very insightful. Yeah.
Weaponry Fitness for $20. W Panel, shout out to MLD. I have big plans in the near future, starting my own business. Big ups to you in pushing me in the right direction. Let's see here. We've got Nonstop Trey for $2. A backhand a day keeps women nagging away. Cappy, was that a quote? Which book?
Sean
was
Connery.
Just give her a slap. Nonstop Dre for $2. A foot on the neck keeps women's boredom arrest. Cappy said that too. Man,
Only if you're in a certain position from behind.
I do not advocate violence against anyone except bankers. We can all agree, bankers, right?
Yeah,
Okay
yeah. And the IRS.
No boomers.
Journalists.
That's in plan. No, because you can't just say all bankers are scum. That's true. All right, but boomers, there's one or two innocent.
Journalists.
Not very Jewish of you.
Janet Yellen qualify, yeah.
Free gender for $10. If you're low value, fix problems with your wallet and keep letting her mentally break you down, it will be a never-ending treadmill until you exhaust your bank account. Then they sent another $5 one. Can someone please pull up the 2 pregnancy tests? She posted, zoom in and see the test, say not pregnant, pregnancy test for there he's talking about the Fresh and Fit scandal. Urban Hermit for $4.99. Trad cons are doing all these things, but they push for you to get married to hide their power level. Ain't no trad con happy in marriage without work. God, these are a lot of super chats.
They sure make it hard.
Yeah. Nonstop Dre, $2. Trad cons are the real villains. Operation Evil. Free gender for $5. Have options before she locks you down. Talk about your cute coworkers respectfully, because she doesn't know the age of your coworkers. Alimony decreases divorce. P-dubs.
Hey.
Is it Duarte 69.69 for $1.99? Great podcast.
Shout out P-dubs.
Matthew W for $4.99. Do appreciate Troy dropping in. OG wisdom. Yes,
there
we do agree with that.
He's one of
the real,
he's a cool guy.
the real Troy Francis.
The real Troy.
Not the fake one. The real
real.
one. And then finally, we have Nonstop Dre for $2. Rule 0 Hawaiian shirt and cleavage competition. We need to have a Hawaiian shirt day, guys. When the fuck are we doing this?
I don't have
We've
one.
been talking about that for
back.
2 years now. We've been talking about that for 2 fucking years, and it hasn't happened.
Where's Ryan today?
We might have to do that.
He hasn't showed up for the last couple episodes. I don't know what he's doing. He's doing some Canadian shit, you know. All right. So that's all the super chats. No more super chats, guys. We're not going to read it anymore.
Whoa.
We got look. We got places to go. People to see.
I do have.
Again, there we have one.
God damn it. Okay, just for you, Tradcons and bread tubers don't understand TRP. Okay, there we go. Now let's go around the panel.
Yeah, no worries. We'll start with Jack. Let us know what's up. Tell us about your stuff. And sure.
Thanks
for coming, man.
Yeah, small effort, man. Here we go. My channel is right here. We did Red Evening this morning for me, last night for most of you Yanks. We're going to do Post Zero tomorrow. I don't know who's going to show up because it's Mother's Day, and I believe like more than half the panel can't show up. So we got to see what we're going to do. And other than that, go check it out. My version of the Book audiobook is for free if you become a member of the channel, and that's it for me. Got some audiobooks in all the descriptions there, so please go check them out.
Yeah, that's a great version of the Book of Poop too, by the way. Well read. Cappy, my friend. What have you been up to? What do you think?
Kind of closing down the Vegas place and opening up the South Dakota place. Nothing else. Trying to have some fun, doing some golf and being a finger-giving prick on the internet. The only real thing I have going on is the minimalism course, Achieving Minimalism Theory and Practice. I have that open today and tomorrow. No close tomorrow at midnight. So if you have spending trouble, that course is open through Teachable. Achieving Minimalism, Teachable. You'll find it. Otherwise, just all the books are available for sale. And if you got questions that need consulting, askconsulting.com. There's a fair amount of channels that are getting closed down in the Red Pill community. So everyone just so you know, in case Cappy goes away, I think they're just demonetizing, not taking down the channels. But I will be prepared for doing super chats through Streamlabs.
Yeah.
Or also looking for me on alternative platforms. But if I get demonetized or canceled, I'll let y'all know.
You're not gonna get demonetized.
I don't know. There's some like Sartain just got like Sartain. Yeah. Like and
wait, he just got demonetized.
Yeah, like it.
Demonetized.
Yeah, but it's like why?
Who did he have on? Who did he have on this time?
He was on my channel. That's what it was.
No, I
God,
don't know.
dude. Oh no, I'm next. Oh no, you were just on mine.
Look here, I'll be, and then we'll
What the
move
hell?
on. But you could just expect, going into the future, by the time Jack is my age, there are going to be very few right-leaning, confrontational, controversial channels on YouTube. So the future down the road, depending how fast YouTube wants to go, I think is going to be these alternative platforms. It will be a CNN gives rise to Fox News type of thing, but that's a decade down in the making. But yeah, just keep in mind that's a possibility.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I actually have noticed that. I've been off kind of watching everything, but when I started doing my research last week and want to get back into hosting and doing all that stuff, a lot of folks are getting demonetized.
Yeah.
You wouldn't
And
expect.
it's channels I'm like, really?
Yeah, not to sidetrack this, but they're still up. So they're still getting hits. Could it be that I'm just speculating? Could it be that Google wants to maintain stock prices and they don't want to pay their creators and they have a plan?
There's that conspiracy incentive as
Troy,
well.
didn't you host a Rule Zero about this a couple months ago? I think you did, right? About how we're all going to get canceled. Yeah, because was it James Tusk got hit?
Oh,
that's
that's correct. Yeah, he got taken down. That's true. I got demonetized before it was even cool. Actually,
yeah, I was just about to say.
Yeah.
Oh, you made demonetizing cool.
Exactly. I've been demonetized forever, man. But it's not even.
It's
not even for the controversy of my content, which, let's face it, the English gentleman vibe is pretty fucking vanilla, guys. It's for some stupid administrative thing, and because YouTube is so strict, you can't, you appeal it once and then that's it, and you're done. But as far as my stuff's concerned, daily videos going up on the channel. We've got a few live events coming up if you want to learn the great art of actually going and talking to women in real life, which I know is pretty revolutionary these days, but some people still do it. So we've got Mexico City, we've got a boot camp coming up 30th of May to the 2nd of June with myself and James Tusk. It's going to be an absolute blast. I'm doing a mastermind event in Dubai on the 15th of June, which is not going to be running around because for obvious reasons it's not particularly appropriate there, but we're going to be doing like an indoor one-day conference in very air-conditioned space. So we're going to be talking about a lot of this stuff and some cutting-edge sort of dating theory and stuff. So that's going to be really cool. And then in London at the end of June, 28th to the 30th of June, we're going to do a 3-day advanced boot camp, which is going to be a mixture of classroom setting stuff where we're going to be going through some theory and, the modern dating marketplace and how to operate in that milieu. And we're going to be hitting the streets and some high-end venues as well. So if you're interested in any of those things, you can DM me I'm on Real Troy Francis on Twitter and on Instagram, so you can DM me or drop me an email, troyfrancis7laws, that's number 7, LAWS @gmail.com.
Thank you, Troy. Appreciate you, man.
Actually, just do that, troy@realtroyfrancis.com if you've got any coaching inquiries.
Perfect. Paul, my dear friend.
Yeah. So I've got a big discount going on for my dating course. You can save half off with code May50 at checkout. I'll drop a link there. Tune into the Dragon Ship right after this. If you guys are watching Rule Zero on my channel, because Thor is pushing it out to several places, if you're watching it on my channel, it'll automatically redirect to Dragon Ship. We're going to be talking about single mothers today in honor of Mother's Day.
Single Mommy's Day?
Single Mommy's Day. And then Monday, I'm going to be doing my show live. It's going to be on marriage isn't success. Marriage by itself isn't success.
Good one.
And that's going to piss off a lot of people, I think.
That's great, Paul. Thanks for helping me with them super chats too. Appreciate that. Nuke,
Yeah, anytime.
The shit stir on X. What's up, man?
Good. Just still causing trouble and letting the Spurgs pay for my groceries. So that's nice. Basically, when it comes to this relationship stuff, stay plan is the same as the go plan. You got to be awesome. Women don't care about your devotion as a man. They care that you're awesome. So you got to be awesome as a guy. You have to be fun, charming. Obviously, when you're in a relationship, you have to, that slider of alpha and beta, you got to slide it a little bit to the left because, she's going to need that comfort, right? But don't lead with that. And there's always resources, right? Guys, if you guys are getting into a relationship or want to get married, there's plenty of people in this space. We're not only here talking just to hear ourselves talk. We want to trade notes. Everyone here has something to offer you if you choose to. and make sure that you use the resources that you have in case you have any questions, right? Because even me, if I ever get in a relationship, I'll probably talk to some of these guys here who've been in relationships and be like, hey, I have this issue, or, you know, and I'm not above it. I don't have this ego where, you know, if I learned game and got rejected 100 times, then I can learn about how to be happy in a relationship as a guy. So, and then shows Tuesdays and Thursdays, guys, 7 p.m. Central. We got Dragon Ship coming up, and post Zero Jack, I will be there Sunday, 10 a.m. Central. We're talking about what are we talking about? Single mothers?
Like I said, I'm not sure because Chesty and Arch are out, so that leaves the men's groups and communication. Because men's groups, Chesty would be amazing for that because he saw the whole march of the MRAs and things.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
he was there. He was there. Yeah,
I was there.
Gandalf. I was there, Gandalf.
The communication thing, Archwinger is great on that, so that's not gonna work. I know Hawk has the time, you have the time, I have the time. So it kind of depends on who else. We might go for the banter, or we're gonna go for
we'll talk about it in the DMs. But yeah, guys, that's all I have. And if you want a consult or something, just DM me on Twitter, Instagram, and Linktree's in the chat. So thanks.
Appreciate that.
Subscribe to Nuke.
Appreciate that. And guys, for me, hey, if you want to come check out becomedurable.com, I have one thing there that might interest most of you watching. If you're looking for a career change and you want to make 100 to 300K a year and you're not afraid of doing work and working in the elements, go there and check out my How to Become a Power Lineman 1-hour lecture. And I send it with resume examples. Also, you'll have a list of all the schools that help men prepare a skilled labor career in power line work, maintaining the largest machine ever invented and operated in the world, which is the power grid that we all rely on to make these broadcasts of Rule Zero. With that, guys, we'll see you next week. Come check out the Dragon Ship. Skull.
Have you ever felt like you're fading into the background? Like the world doesn't want you to stand out, to be strong, to be masculine? You're not imagining it. For decades, society has been reshaping the role of men, leaving many feeling lost and disconnected. It's time to change the narrative. In A Dominant Masculine Presence by RP.THOR, discover the path to reclaim your strength, your confidence, and your identity as a man. This isn't about fitting into a stereotype. It's about embracing your natural traits and honing them into a powerful presence. Learn the 7 skills that every man needs to lead with authority, read body language, and control his emotions. RP.THOR breaks it down with clear examples and practical advice to help you transform your life. It's time to stop apologizing for who you are. It's time to lead with pride and courage. A Dominant Masculine Presence gives you the tools to do just that. Get A Dominant Masculine Presence by RP.THOR on Amazon or